It is another level. I mean, the play, I think I performed to about 250 people a night. This is to what's Netflix subscriber count these days? About 260 million, 270 million or something. So, yeah, it's pretty daunting. I go through sort of occasional bouts of giddy excitement and then occasional bouts of nerves and oh God, I really hope people like it. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole mix of emotions at once. Yeah, it is a true story. I was stalked for a large number of years, and it was a whole ordeal, and yeah, and so yeah, the story is based in truth for sure. And I'm very grateful to Netflix for the platform to tell my story. I hope it's an important story to tell. I hope that it brings certain comfort to people, maybe even stirs the right kind of debate. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I think obviously being given a platform like this to express myself, you hope comes with a certain degree of healing, perhaps maybe not just for me, but for people watching at home who have been through something like this. So so yeah, I guess time will tell. It'll come down to audience response and all kinds of things. So yeah, it's a giddy old time. Well, it was difficult. It's difficult and it's surreal and occasionally euphoric, I suppose. It's a whole sort of thing. That would to come back to I could even take you through each different emotion, but yeah, it was difficult going back through these things. I mean, who wants to return to the worst period in their life and live it for a day, let alone I think the 7 months or so that we filmed for. So yeah, it takes its toll. It is challenging, but then I look back at my life um, when all of this was happening to me, and I thought that there was no way out. And then all of a sudden, I thought this will never ever come to anything. It will be nothing but a blight on my soul. But then to fast forward to however many years later, and you're on set, and you see everyone camera crews and all people rushing around, screwing stuff into walls, and you see these amazing actors bringing stuff to life. You sort of can't quite believe that it all went to something like this. It's crazy. So yeah, again, it's a whole kind of mix of emotions. Yeah. I like to think it sort of escapes genre. It sort of dips into different kinds of genres, and I think that's what makes it kind of interesting. There are times when it's obviously a psychological thriller. There's other times it feels very suspenseful, and other times it feels almost like a sort of odd sort of romance kind of thing, and then at other times it can be oddly uplifting, and then of course at times I think it is. I hope that it is funny and that it feels a bit like a comedy. So I think the very fact that it feels quite mercurial in the way it presents itself, I think is one of its strengths. I hope. She's superb. She's one of the best actresses in this country for sure. I think the world of her. She was on my radar for ages before I'd even penned the show. I'd always seen her in things and thought, oh gosh, she's got something. There's an actress there dying for a meaty part in a way, and dying to kind of get her teeth into something. And I always had her in my mind very strongly. And she's phenomenal. She's such a pro. She's a delight. She does stuff on cue. Like you give her a note and she does it like second nature instantly, which is tough. She's an absolute joy. I can't speak highly of her herself because the show kind of lives and dies on her ability to capture the nuance of the character. And boy, did she capture it! I'm delighted with her, and she's amazing. And hopefully, she goes on some great things as a result of it. Yeah, I do, but I think my fear of making disingenuous art is greater than that. I think there's a version of the show which I'll just be honest. I sometimes the fear can grip you sometimes, and I just offer a cup of tea, and oh, isn't my life? I've done this wonderful gesture, and this this person just ruins it. Wasn't I so nice? The reality of the situation was that I was very I was in an extremely bad place, and I was trying to take any comfort I could take, and I found that was more artistically interesting to explore than kind of a maybe more simplistic narrative of that was just poor me, poor me, poor me kind of thing. I think the second you start to write from a disingenuous place, the second an audience sniffs it out, and it's why I've always tried to adhere to sort of radical honesty in all the work that I've done. Yeah. I'm okay. You know, living with these kinds of things that I've been through, because obviously the kind of stuff I've been through is trauma on quite a great scale, and you know, it is a process. It's not. There's no, and I think that some of the discomfort that can come with dealing with these kinds of things is expecting one day to wake up in the morning and bang, everything's fine again. But it's not like that. It's a process. It's a process of understanding. It's a process of processing and all these kinds of things. So yeah. I mean, if I look back on how I was in the aftermath of all this stuff, yeah, it's light years away, you know.
There's a reason you're keeping her around, and maybe it's what she gives you.
I think everyone's aware that it's happening. I think I've done enough sort of autobiographical sort of shows about my life by now, mainly in the live sphere, but for all my friends and family and people in my life to sort of receive it with a certain degree of novelty. I think they kind of enjoy it. I think a lot of people are quite flattered almost. And I think people have seen this sort of change, you know, going in through all those experiences. A lot of my friends and a lot of my family were very concerned for me. So I think the very fact that I've taken this negative and put it into hopefully a positive, I think I think they would rather it this way than the other way, if that makes sense.
I really don't know where it's going to end. I think one of us is going to have to die now.